confirmation that it is going to be Roman Reigns versus Edge for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, so sign me up for that one.
Who y'all going for, Roman Reigns or Edge? Let me know down in the comments right now. Roman Reigns or Edge? Who you going for? I understand why you want to go for Edge. He'll probably talk about it. I'll leave it alone.
Because from nowhere, the King of the Universe arrived, and I am, of course, talking about Bobby Lashley. He absolutely wrecked Drew McIntyre. At one point, I thought he was just going to rip the ponytail off of his head.
What's good? Dark Knight Gang in the stack. Yeah, gang. Bro, you already know what's up. Ups and downs. WWE Elimination Chamber. This is a 20-minute video. It's the last video I'm reacting to today. More reactions tomorrow. You already know what's up. I'm gonna do the top 10 Raw moments tomorrow. I had to get caught up on the Elimination Chamber. Shout out to What Culture Wrestling. I mess with you guys heavy. Shout out to my guy Simon. I love these videos. You always keep me up to date, bro, because I do not watch the pay-per-views. So I just watch your ups and downs, and you keep me up to date. So I appreciate you, my guy. But yeah, man, we all about to see the ups and downs. You already know I'm excited for it, man. You guys turned me into a low-key WWE fan. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. So I'm not even embarrassed about it anymore. I used to be kind of embarrassed. I know that sounds bad, but listen, leave me alone, all right, cuz? Let's hop to the video.
So let's start with the pre-show, which was an absolute roller coaster ride, and I will try and get you up to date as best as I can, because it started finding out that Keith Lee isn't going to be in the triple threat US title match later, and apparently it's an injury, so I hope he's okay.
Okay,
so
yeah,
we were going to do a four-way, and then the winner of that four-way would go into that triple threat. So that did indeed see Mustafa Ali taking on John Morrison, taking on Ricochet, taking on Elias, in a distraction, because that's the only thing we're allowed to do. Bring down the board, that's 29. But it also finished with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, because after Retribution had just murdered Ricochet by chucking him into the ring post, Mustafa Ali was all like, I'm the best leader ever. And then when he got back in the ring, he proved himself wrong, because John Morrison did indeed use a surprise roll-up. 1, 2, 3. He's going into that match later. Okay. I like John Morrison.
Yeah.
I'm giving it up. However, what was all...
I like John Morrison. So John Morrison winning that match to be in it later on, I'm not mad about it. That's cool.
Madness with Oscar. Like, they were teasing on the pre-show who was going to be Oscar's opponent, because of course it can't be Lacey Evans as she's pregnant. And then when we got to the main show,
Lacey Evans is pregnant. I didn't even know. I didn't know. That's good to know. Okay.
Just didn't say nothing, and there was nobody. So I suppose all this stuff Oscar's been saying is true. Nobody was ready for Oscar. But I just don't understand why she's been pushed into the background so much. Let's get it down.
I don't like that either. Oscar's a beast. She's definitely one of the best women.
Who's going to face Roman Reigns later on? Was
one of the best women.
And I thought it rocked. For starters, Cesaro wore these pants that were half chastity belt and half sparkly joy. And I'm not going to lie, I may have missed a lot of what happened in the first 5 minutes of this, because I was just staring at his pants going, I wonder how he came up with the idea. What did steal my attention away from these undergarments, though, was the fact that the first two guys in there were Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. Oh my word, these two are so good together.
Oh yeah.
I had a moment I was like, look, I love the
They're both really great wrestlers. I'm
going to have one later on. Why couldn't we have just done this as a singles? I want to watch them wrestle until the day I die. So I'll be on my deathbed going, you get him, Daniel Bryan. It will be great. Baron Corbin was the third one in there, and he decided to use the Elimination Chamber as a weapon. He was like smushing Daniel Bryan's face into it in around about 2.4 seconds. And even though every other guy was desperate to get in, do you know who was terrified? Sami Zayn, the greatest person in all of WWE. He was all like, not me, please don't be me. I love Sami Zayn. Sadly, but maybe not surprisingly, he was next, and he was absolutely terrified to the point he's like, well, I'm not going to leave. Nobody can make me. Baron Corbin tried to do this, but he got kicked by Daniel Bryan. And then sadly for Sami, when he did turn around, Cesaro was on the other side, and he basically just ripped him out of there and whooped his ass. He had a hell of a time too, because he went to do the haluva kick miss and just planted it right into the side of the Elimination Chamber. And then he and Cesaro were climbing up one of the pods and then across the mesh on the sides like they were Mario in Super Mario World, and they just entered Bowser's castle. Cesaro then leaped.
That was a good visual. I pictured it too when he said that. You know how Mario be climbing on a little mesh? So I literally pictured that. That was a great visual for me, bro.
The roof, and stomped Sami Zayn
This
down
is why
to
you
the
my
floor.
guy.
And just to make you go, my word, Cesaro, I want to have your children, he started doing pull-ups. I am very excited to see what is next for the Swiss Cyborg. We weren't done here either, and again, I don't know how long this.
So Cesaro was in here beating some ass.
Well,
All right.
he was back down the mat. He gave Baron Corbin the big swing. He then locked in the sharpshooter, and that was it for the King. He tapped out. It's kind of surprised. It was also the time for Kevin Owens to get in there, and Sami Zayn was like, look, stop, we used to be friends, why don't we work together? So KO just grabbed him and chucked him into the pods, and I thought that was quite funny. And then we had a small window into what the WWE main event scene could have been, because Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan just went at it, and it was great. I just started doing like a round of applause. I didn't even tell my brain to do it. I mean, at one point, Kevin Owens hit a senton onto Cesaro with Daniel Bryan trying to give him a sleeper hold. He was holding onto his back. I guess Sami Zayn kind of felt left out too, because he then went up to KO and he bit him. And then saw Owens just hit a bunch of cannonballs onto everyone, and then everybody else was hitting their big moves until Jey Uso got in there, and him and Kevin Owens started to brawl. And at this point, I think Kevin, I just love diving off of things. I want to be able to dive off something every single day of my life. So that's what he went and did. Because he decided to climb to one of the pods and just did a moonsault from there onto the awaiting pack. I know we see this stuff all the time, but we need to take a step back and actually realise what we're witnessing.
It's Kevin Owens. I like that shit.
Everyone just dove off and did a somersault. This is not normal behaviour. Owens was unstoppable too, as he started to bust out summers on everyone, including Sami Zayn. And even though he tried to reverse it, he failed. And then he was out of there. It was the 1, 2, 3. Secretly put your hand up if you'd like these two to feud again. My hand, as usual, is staying up. But all things considered, it actually looks like we may be doing Owens versus Jey Uso, because when Sami Zayn was being taken out of there and Kevin's all like, oh, see you absolute fool, Jey Uso trapped Kevin Owens' arm in the door and then proceeded just to kick him over and over again in the face.
My boy Jay.
Pretty damn brutal. It allowed him to get back in the ring and hit the big smash to get rid of Kevin Owens, and I didn't see that one coming. But at this juncture, I really did allow myself to believe, because in the corner of my eye, I saw some sparkly pants. I was like, oh my gosh, Cesaro's still in it. And then my dreams were crushed. Because even though he did grab Jey Uso and swing him into the
my boy Jay got him too.
No match for Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan. And after Daniel Bryan had smacked him one, and Jey Uso hit him with the super kick, Cesaro was out of there, and I started to cry. Although actually, given what the plan was,
your cousin got out of there. Tell me they don't look like they can be cousins.
Protected Cesaro.
Buff, bald head, white dudes.
I'll explain it in a second. It actually looked like Jay was going to win this too, because he was then about to hit another frog splash onto Daniel Bryan. But Daniel had this scouted. He got his knees up. Jey Uso's ribs probably exploded on impact. And then we got the running knee. And I was like, oh man, this is so cool. In maybe an hour or a few matches time, we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. And then once again, everything just changed. And out it came, looking really mad. The chair-obsessed maniac then just stormed into the ring. And look, I actually think that WWE told the right story here, but I'm such a nerd fan, I'm such a geek, I was desperate for them to have like a really close encounter with near falls, the traditional WWE stuff. And when we didn't get it, even though I understood, once again I was a little bit sad. And look, again, once more, given the post-match angle, this was 100% the right thing to do, and it was a little bit different for WWE, but I was just disappointed for my own selfish endeavours. I want to make that very clear, and now I shall abuse my power
and give it a down.
My toys out the pram. But however, as soon as that was said and done, Rome was holding his belt like, man, I can't wait to go home and tell my family how much I love them and that they're all under my thumb and I'll kill them if I have to. Edge appeared from nowhere. He gave Roman the spear. He whispered something in his ear, and then he pointed at the WrestleMania sign as pyrotechnics went off. And I think we have our WrestleMania main event. This really did feel like a big deal.
I figured this was going to be the main event.
Because as we've
the main event. All right.
If Edge wins, what an amazing comeback story that is. He finally got back the world title. He never lost. But if Roman Reigns wins, that is just tragic and it's going to break your heart. And sometimes that is what stories should do. You should be left upset as long as that's the intent. This was very good. I then thought we were definitely going to do The Miz versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, but now, given the ending of the show, I have absolutely no clue, because Sonya Deville was talking to Bad Bunny here, going, Bad Bunny, you're the best, I'm so happy you're selling us loads of merchandise, when The Miz walked up to him, and to cut a long story short, they were pushing, they were slapping, and if it wasn't for Damian Priest, who the hell knows what would have gone down. I like Bad Bunny too. I just do. Whether he's helped or not, I don't know. I have no idea. I know he did sell a lot of merchandise, like I say, but he's clearly enjoying all of this. He's clearly a real fan. He's clearly dedicating some time towards the craft. And if it is going to be The Miz versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, or The Miz and John Morrison taking on Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, I've decided I am fine with this.
Me too. That'll be cool. Hold on.
So
Milk Dud. All right.
US title match a triple threat. Well, we found out. Now, it is a little bit silly, because if you did want to make Riddle your champion, which we did do here, surely you should have given him something. Because when I actually think about his recent WWE career, all I think about was got destroyed by Bobby Lashley.
Did you just say Matt Riddle won?
Got destroyed by Bobby Lashley. Said something stupid backstage. Hung out with Kalisto and then got destroyed by Bobby Lashley. And this was hilarious at the start too, because I'm pretty sure Bob could have had an army in front of him and nobody would have been able to take him down. Like, even if Riddle and John Morrison had machine guns, all of a sudden it would have turned out that Bobby Lashley has skin that can absorb bullets. It was a little bit like that anime manga episode of South Park where Cartman just gets new powers every single day. That's Bobby Lashley in WWE.
Facts. Milk Dud, listen, Milk Dud is unstoppable, cuz.
Together again. Never forget.
Buff Bobby Milk Dud, unstoppable.
Bobby Lashley is the most destructive element in the entire company. I want him to win every single title and take over WWE.
Nah, I don't.
And rename Raw Monday Night Bobby. MVP was also at ringside with a crutch. And it does sound like he's actually injured himself, so I hope he's okay. And at one point, Morrison even had this crutch, and he was going to hit Bobby Lashley, but you know what he did?
Listen, I'm faded. All right, leave me alone.
Just got out of the way, and then he ripped John Morrison's larynx right out of his throat.
Oh,
he didn't do that, but if he had, I think we would have all accepted this. It was this crutch that became a problem, because Riddle then got it. He slammed Bobby Lashley in the back, and for some reason that wasn't a DQ. Apparently this was a no DQ match, or maybe all triple threats are no DQs. I have no idea. And then, rather than pin Bobby Lashley, because by the way, he didn't go down, he just left him like, oh man, I think that hurt my back. He hit the floating bro to John Morrison, pinned him to become the US champion. So once again, of course Bobby Lashley was going to be...
Milk Dud does not lose.
He got screwed over. This was just great though, because once again, Bobby Lashley is meant to be the bad guy, and he has all the sympathy in the world for me. And even the dudes in the ring were like, well, I'm going to try and pin him. I can't beat Bobby Lashley. He's a man mountain. Still, this was all enjoyable stuff, and I have no idea where we go with Riddle now. But as it
Bobby Lashley coming after that nigga.
We did have a plan when it came to Bob. I think the plan is pretty damn good. We shall talk about it in a second. We did indeed get confirmation that it is going to be Roman Reigns versus Edge for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, so sign me up for that one.
Who y'all going for, Roman Reigns or Edge? Let me know down in the comments right now. Roman Reigns or Edge? Who you going for? I understand why you want to go for Edge. He'll probably talk about it. I'll leave it alone.
Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler.
Oh, he's not. I understand if you want to go for Edge. Of course. You know, he didn't even really lose his title, right? He got hurt. Everything happened. So you might be going for Edge. I want to see Edge lose, nigga. I want Roman Reigns, heel Roman Reigns, to beat him and put him out of and put him in retirement, bro. That's what I want to see. Oh,
against Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, and I'm very
y'all know this is about to be fire.
SmackDown ups and downs. Because it was fine, it was fun, again. Because my big worry was that Sasha and Bianca were going to win the belts. Now, once again, we'd be muddying the waters with the Tag Team Championship and one of the Women's Championships. Because every time you do that, both belts suffer. It's just what happens when neither one of them has a focus. Instead, though, I think we are using it to slowly tease that we are going to do Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at Mania. And much like all of the WrestleMania matches we've been talking about, that's another one that I want.
Me too.
Like Batista, give me what I want. The good guys got interviewed beforehand, but they were interrupted by Reginald, who's all like, oh, I'm going to put this bottle on ice for you. I think he's French. I can't do a French accent. And of course, when we got into the meat and bones, it was mostly Shayna Baszler working over Sasha Banks' arm. Shayna Baszler is legit, and she used to do MMA. It took a frog splash from Banks to try and get back into this, and I'm pretty sure Bianca Belair even had the thing won after the KOD until Nia Jax broke it up at the last second. Sasha Banks then blind tagged herself in, and if we know anything about professional wrestling, it's if you blind tag yourself in, bad things are about to happen. Sasha Banks then found that out too, because even though she did smash out a Meteora and almost got the win, all of a sudden, out came Reggie, and he had a bottle of champagne or wine or something. And he even gave this to Sasha. He told her to use it, but she wouldn't, because you know her heart is pure. So instead she turned around, she got Samoan dropped, by Nia Jax, and they are still your tag team champions. However, we do have to do it. There's the board.
So that dude caused the distraction.
Counts a distraction.
Yeah.
That's 3-0. That's the other problem with these kind of matches. If I was Nia Jax, and if you're wondering, I'm not, I would be like, wait a minute, I just pinned the SmackDown Women's Champion. Surely this means now I am the #1 contender. I'm sure all of this will implode on Friday night, though, and like I say, build to Sasha versus Bianca.
I hope so, too.
That's why I'm fine with it.
Tight.
I don't need to go over it again. I just talked to you about it. MVP was then speaking to The Miz, and at the time, my brain didn't click, and what a fool I was. Because Bobby Lashley just lost his US Championship, The Miz just so happens to have the Money in the Bank. Honestly, I should be allowed to watch wrestling sometimes. How did I not figure this out? We then did keep everything very simple when it did come to our main event, however, Ben is getting it up. And what do I mean by that?
Okay. I don't understand the implications behind MVP and The Miz.
Against Sheamus, against AJ Styles, against Jeff Hardy, against Randy Orton, and against Kofi Kingston. And he beat all of them, kinda, to hold on to his gold.
Yep.
And that's what I want from my good guy champions. He just comes across like a badass, and he's so easy to get behind. Hardy and Orton were the first.
He gotta lose eventually, though.
Away, because when Randy was getting beaten up, he just poked Jeff Hardy in the eye, which he has been doing a lot recently.
This dude.
But I've decided he does this when the voices in his head tell him to, which means they range from poke that guy in the eye to you should burn this man alive. McIntyre wasn't the first person in there after all of this, and just take everything I said and doubled it. He was beating up Randy Orton, he was beating up Jeff Hardy. At one point, he
Drew McIntyre's an absolute beast, bro.
He was so mad at the cameraman. This just works. Although it also kind of screwed Drew here, because he was so obsessed with the cameraman. When he did turn around, Randy Orton gave him the draping DDT. Following on from that, though, we had such a cool moment because Kofi Kingston got in there, and honestly, within around about 120 seconds, he was using the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up onto the Viper, and he got the 1, 2, 3. This is kind of like when Edge took out Cena when he was the world champion all those years ago at the Elimination Chamber. And given that Randy Orton was never going to be in the world title picture leading into WrestleMania, this is what you should do. I loved every second of it. Now, some people are going, why didn't The Fiend get involved here? I don't know. I don't write the show anymore. It was a little bit odd. I also do want to give a quick shout out to Kofi Kingston, because when Randy Orton was entering into the Elimination Chamber, he stood in his pod and he started shouting at Randy, look at your quads, you've got great quads, you must do squats. And just how I am laughing now, so did Randy Orton. Somebody give Kofi Kingston a medal. Given that Orton felt like he had just been screwed, though, he went absolutely nuts and started RKOing everyone. And then all the rules went out the window, because Omos broke AJ Styles out of his pod, and because the door was open, AJ just ran in there, and yeah, he was blatantly cheating. I mean, this was like kids at a sleepover going wild until Daddy came downstairs to tell everyone to calm down. And the dad in this scenario was Adam Pearce, and he was able to achieve this. But then back in the ring, go look out your window. I'm serious. Go open your curtains and look out your window now. You may see AJ Styles just flying through the air because Drew McIntyre gave him such a big back body drop. I didn't know it was possible. Sheamus was finally in there last, and he went straight after Drew McIntyre, and they were basically hitting each other for real. And no matter what does happen over the next few weeks or months, I want Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre in a one-on-one at some point.
That'll be fire.
I just think it'll rock. There was then this insane Tower of Doom spot that you should go out of your way to see, and then Kofi Kingston was diving off one of the top of the pods because he's crazy as well. But that didn't help, because Sheamus then kicked him. 1, 2, 3. And he was gone too. And I couldn't help it. Audibly I went,
I'm not mad.
Well, where the hell was Retribution? That is such an easy story point that we missed. Hardy then almost got rid of Styles until he got Claymore kicked, so Jeff Hardy was gone. And then the 41, or whatever the hell he is, year old AJ Styles did a 450 springboard onto Drew McIntyre. How is he doing that at his age? He doesn't make any sense, and I know he kind of stumbled on the first one. I don't care. Both of them still pretty damn good. And then kind of felt like we added another new potential WrestleMania match, because AJ Styles hit the phenomenal forearm and he took out Sheamus. And this was doubly bad because the Irishman had just bro-kicked Drew McIntyre. Now he's going to be really pissed off. It left us with the obvious result, which was, of course, Drew hitting AJ Styles with the Claymore kick. Although he did this in midair after Styles had gone for the phenomenal forearm. And at first I was like, okay, cool, that's nice. We're just going to have a happy ending to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view with Drew McIntyre still.
That's what I figured, but what happened?
Do I have to let go of the championship, the fake one at this point? not what happened at all. Because from nowhere, the King of the Universe arrived, and I am, of course, talking about Bobby Lashley.
Milk Dud!
He absolutely wrecked Drew McIntyre.
Milk Dud!
At one point, I thought he was just going to rip the ponytail off of his head. And you could then kind of start to smell what was going to happen too, because, of course, earlier in the night, The Miz had been talking to Bobby Lashley's best friend, MVP. And then it happened over the tannoy. It went, I'm awesome! Doesn't say that, whatever the hell it says. And out came The Miz, and he was waving that briefcase over his head. I had a mini breakdown at first, because I was like, no way is this going to happen. But then The Miz hit a DDT onto Drew McIntyre, who, much like Daniel Bryan earlier, was just a zombie. He then hit the skull-crushing finale. The referee went 1, the referee went 2, and the referee went 3. It was a long way to do it, but we got there. And your new WWE Champion is The Miz. And I went through a bunch of emotions here, like, man, no, not The Miz, I don't want this, I can't believe it. Then I realised, that's why this is so great. That's why this is so good. That's exactly how you should be feeling.
I hate
He's an annoying asshole, but he still managed to pull one off, proving that when you do become Mr. Money in the Bank, it will work out all right.
I don't hate The Miz, but
let's just forget about it and look at the amount of doors that it's opened. Because surely The Miz has now entered into some kind of deal with the Hurt Business. There's that conversation, and that ain't going to go well. So maybe Bobby Lashley beats him, and at WrestleMania we do Drew versus Bobby. Maybe it happens at Fastlane. Sheamus, he can go, well, I deserve a world title match. I beat Drew McIntyre on Raw. This is really deep, especially for
a lot can happen.
And I think it's pretty damn fabulous.
Alright, shout out to the homie once again, like always, for keeping me up to date. Bro, I cannot believe that happened. The Miz is the motherfucking champion. This is what I think is going to happen. Clearly, MVP and The Miz set something up. We all saw that. So Bobby Lashley came out. He messed up Drew McIntyre so The Miz can win the championship. Let's see what happens. Watch The Miz have to give like Bobby Lashley the championship, or watch like The Miz and Bobby Lashley have a match. I don't know. Bro, I don't know. We just gonna see what happens, man. This was fire. Thank y'all so much for requesting it. I knew Drew McIntyre had to lose it eventually, but I didn't know how he was gonna lose it. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. He might win it back though. But let me know what you guys thought down in the comments. See y'all next time. Shout out to the gang. Peace.